Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Cheryl, W5MOO, and Bill, NE4RD.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. You're joining us for episode 624 of Linux in the Ham Shack, the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. This week, we're telling you about what we've been up to, along with interviewing Bill about his adventures at the 2026 Scouting America National Jamboree. But before we get into that, we should introduce ourselves. For our silent key, Russ, K52X. I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD. Yes, welcome back, everyone. I know we've had a few weeks off, or at least two. At least 2 weeks off with no
two in a day.
No show. And I was watching the podcast listening statistics as they slowly creep down for the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't know if we can do this break time stuff anymore.
I don't think we can,
It just leaves too much of a gap. So we'll just have to have filler shows. So we'll have to do like impromptus or something like that. That we fill up the calendar with. And speaking of calendars, let's go over what we've done in the past fortnight since we got together. But I know what I've been doing. But what have you been doing, Cheryl?
Yeah, it's in my food category. It has been far too hot to cook. I mentioned on the Discord channel it's last week, I believe, that our Tuesday between the humidity and the actual temperature made it up to 127 degrees here. So yeah, that is far too hot to even think about cooking. So I've been living a lot on cheese sandwiches and things like that. But I did host poker for our friends on Saturday night. Bill was here for it. And I fixed my mom's macaroni salad, bacon potato salad, my mom's baked beans. But the temperature was nice on Saturdays, like 75 degrees. But now we're back up into the 80s again, 90s. So back to not cooking again. So computer stuff, bills, probate stuff, the normal. Bill got my radios hooked back up on, I believe, Saturday morning.
Yep.
So, and he removed several radios from Russ's shack. I believe he said that, we don't need to worry about these right now. We'll worry about those later. So he's starting me out with the basic radio setup. So once I wander in there and get started on that, we'll do it, So he'll help me. I have faith. So, and then Bill brought me a really cool patch from Jamboree. It's going to get a magnet put on the back of it. And it's going to be put on the fridge in our game room because we always collected magnets from cool places. So property improvement things are happening around the property. Life marches on. And that's it in my world.
Well, mine has been basically our topic tonight. So I don't know how much I want to get into. I will tell you the food. I haven't been cooking anything. I've been eating at a chow hall, as we like to call it. I have been using some computers to do logging and stuff like that. And using some ICOM radios. And other than that, driving in between. That's basically it. So
lots of driving. And cheesy grits for breakfast.
Cheesy grits for breakfast. Yes, absolutely. The only good thing on the menu in the morning.
Yeah, well,
let's get into our topic because we're going to kind of talk about what I've been doing for the past couple weeks.
Yeah, so we're actually interviewing Bill about the 2026 Scouting America National Jamboree. And I've got notes here, and then we're going to have some questions for Bill. So what is Jamboree? Jamboree is the Scouting America National Jamboree, or gathering. Thousands of members of the excluded Boy Scouts of America. It's changed now.
Scouting America.
Yeah, it's all Scouting America now. Usually held every 4 years and organized by the National Council of Scouting America. It's referred to as Jamboree, Jambo, or NSJ. Scouts from all over the nation and world have the opportunity to attend. So, my first question is, how long has Bill been doing this?
Too long. Oh, wait.
That's not the answer.
That is not the answer. I was the media lead for the K2BSA in 2017. So was that 9 years ago?
9 years ago. Yeah.
So, but I started like a year and a half before that to be part of planning and communication for the group. Then I was media lead for the World Jamboree, which just happened to happen in the United States. That's something that moves from country to country every 4 years on the calendar. And this is 2019 was the first time since, I think, 1982 that it's been in the U.S., something close to that. Don't quote me, but it's pretty close to that. So it doesn't circle back to the U.S. very often, and this was being hosted by the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, and it was being held at the Summit Bechtel Reserve there in Glen Jean or Mount Hope, West Virginia, whatever town comes up when you click that. And let's see, I did the 2023 National Jamboree as that was a makeup for the 2021 that got canceled due to COVID. I was the K2BSA area lead for that or program lead. And then, of course, the 2026 National Jamboree, which is the one I just got back from. So, yeah, 4 pretty major events in the last 9 years. So, yeah, a lot.
Alrighty then, yeah. So how are they getting back on schedule after COVID happened?
The plan, I think the plan originally, at least all these plans are always in theory and written in pencil and on the back of some kind of thing that you can throw away and change your mind. We had thought when they did the 2023 one, which was problematic. So every other 2 years, so like the way it was scheduled before was you'd have a national jamboree, let's say this year, and in 2 years you'd have a world jamboree somewhere in the world, and then 2 years after that you would have another national jamboree. So it was like interleaved between 2 years. But because of COVID, the 2023 National Jamboree was on the same year as the 2023 World Jamboree. So the World Jamboree never changed its schedule. So the idea was we would have 2 successive 3-year periods between National Jamborees in order to get ourselves back on the every 2-year calendar with the World Jamboree. However, from what I hear, and this could be just rumor, but I've heard it from enough sources now that I think we're going to have the next National Jamboree will be in 2030, so in 4 years, which will mean...
Yeah, I actually saw 2029.
Yeah, well, exactly. Big question marks. All the leadership that has been talking about is 2030, so it'll be 4 years. And then potentially they'll do a 3-year gap the next time. I think much like myself, there's a bit of jamboree fatigue. Right. Because a lot of us have been in leadership positions and running this stuff for the last 9 years. And it seems like we've only had maybe 2 years off because it does take, a couple of years of planning to get this to go through. I mean, 2 years out, I'm hiring people basically for my staff, finding people that would be interested. I'm attending meetings and organizing with which program area we're going to be in, who's going to be in charge, what we're going to offer, and so on and so forth. So it's a big ordeal, and it takes a lot of planning when you have these large scale events. And so some of us don't get time off in between jamborees because we're planning the next one. So I think that's what the case is here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 2030 will be the next one.
Well, I guess we'll see. So, okay. So they're considered to be one of several unique experiences that Scouting America offers. The first jamboree was scheduled to be held in 1935 in Washington, D.C., to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Scouting, but was delayed 2 years after being canceled due to polio. So the 1937 Jamboree in Washington attracted 25,000 scouts, You camped around the Washington National Monument and the tidal basin. So people may ask where the National Jamboree is held. It is held at the Summit Bechtel Reserve in Glen Jean, West Virginia. The Summit Bechtel Reserve, or the Summit for short, is a unique scouting facility with an expansive main property spanning over 10,000 acres, which is about 16 square miles. They offer training, scouting, and an adventure center for the millions of youth and adults involved in Boy Scouts of America and anyone who loves the outdoors. It's nestled in the heart of West Virginia. The summit is strategically positioned within an 8-hour drive of 60% of the U.S. population.
But it's not Montana.
Yeah, exactly. It's the permanent home for Scouting America's National Jamboree, but it's more than just the Jamboree site. It's a place where scouts can learn, explore, and push themselves to the limit, fostering a sense of curiosity and eagerness to participate.
Yeah, they have programs running all year long.
All year long, yeah.
So they'll have summer camps. They have family camps that are available as well, that scouting families can do like their own family camp out there on site. Yeah, they have so many things that they can do with that property. It's been quite a unique space to have these kinds of events.
So you know approximately how much it costs for a scout to attend this?
Well, so the scouts are kind of odd, not because they're odd, but because their particular thing includes normally a trip that precedes it. So I think most of the troops that came went to DC first. So in general, all in transport, the pre-trip and jamboree, it's around 4,000, I think, something like that. So it's fairly expensive. I think
per person.
I think just the jamboree is probably I don't want to quote, so I would say somewhere almost to 2,000. So it's like maybe $1,800 or something like that.
Alrighty then.
Just for the jamboree itself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for us volunteers, staff, it was I'm pretty sure it's like around 1,200. So yeah, we had to pay to be there.
Nice. Yeah. So what's the average age range of the attendees?
I could have actually looked that up had I known you were going to ask that, which I didn't read any of the notes, so I didn't want to prepare too much for this.
Okay, just give us a general guess.
Let me look at I do have a age data table here, so I'm going to look at it real quick. So it actually has average. The average age is 14.7.
Okay.
So it ranges in age from 12 to 22. Now you'd probably say the 22s are like an oddball thing. Well,
right.
So the venture troops are for basically college age kids. So there are venture troops that do participate into this program. Also, I believe Order the Arrow is an older student or an older, collegiate age person. But I can give you the full demographics here. So the average age of the females that participated was 14.5. Average age of the males was 14.7. Overall, 14.7. They go from 12 to 22. Let's see. We had 21% female and 79% male. So you can see we're still pretty heavy on the male side of the attendees. Now, I will say at the World Jamboree, that was completely upside down because we had about 55% female and 45% male.
Interesting.
So scouting in the international sense is probably more female than male. Yeah, so it is quite different. And I know some people are thinking, are the Girl Scouts part of this? No. The Girl Scouts are not members of the World Organization for the Scouting Movement, which is what Scouting America falls under in the international programs. So a lot of this stuff is not relevant to Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts are sort of on their own. And
so do you know when the Boy Scouts started letting girls in?
I'm
Because I
trying
know
to.
when I was a kid, that now boys and girls
Yeah,
are
we were
separate.
already seeing them at the World Scout Jamboree. Did I have pictures? I can always tell by my photos because I took photos of everything and I was the guy doing it. So let's look at 2017. I'm almost thinking we had females at the 2017 Jamboree. Like, I think that was the very first set of females coming in there, but I could be wrong. I'm going to quickly.
Apparently, they began allowing girls in 1969.
Oh, well,
But they
venture
actually
programs.
allowed.
That's in
You're
venture.
right. Yeah. But they actually allowed them in 2019.
Okay, yeah. So it would have been the World Scout Jamboree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through my pictures of 2017, and I only see boys. Yeah, so they changed that. In 2019. So we saw the first ones at the World Scout Jamboree, which made a lot of sense because, again, more females than males, and it's still growing. It's definitely growing in the female population for these kind of national events.
Right. So approximately how many scouts are at each jamboree?
Well, it depends. And it depends on who you ask. The ones since COVID have been a bit small.
Interesting.
So, and this year, of course, it's even smaller due to the economy, which seemed to have taken a pretty large toll. I believe this year, I heard numbers quoted for scouts in the neighborhood of somewhere between 7,000 to 7,500. So somewhere in that range. We had about 3,000 staff present. So this would be all of your adults and stuff like that. So
10,000-ish people.
So roughly 10,000 plus or minus. I'm not an official source for these numbers, so it could be a little bit higher because they were still taking people up until basically the event. Now, we also had day pass visitors. So one of the days there was like an additional 1,200 people there. And this would have been like Cub Scouts, little kids, parents, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, grandpa, grandmas, bunch of people. Anybody that wanted to come visit the National Jamboree, they had day passes available, I believe, for 5 or 6 of the days that we were there. I think the highest day peaked out at about 1,200, and most of the other days were anywhere between 500 and 800. So,
cool.
So we had basically, think about 10,000, then probably fluctuating up to about 12 to maybe 13,000 on a daily basis based upon staff that wasn't registered. So we had people that were just exhibitors that came in every day and did think of it like a conference where you have your booth and you just come in, run the booth, and you go home. We definitely had a lot of those people. We had a lot of the military stuff was done that way as well. They were just in and out on the day. So like the population would grow and shrink every night.
Alrighty then. So can any scout attend?
I would assume so. Especially because they've changed the age range. The summit used to be considered a high adventure camp, which meant by the definition of a high adventure camp for the Scouting America that you had to be at least 14 years old and a scout first class or something like that. I'm not really good on my scouting stuff. Sorry. I think it's like a first class scout. Yeah, first class scout. So that used to be the requirements, but since they've kind of opened up the gates in order to ensure that we have a higher attendance, especially since COVID, where things changed drastically. I think you just have to have a pulse and be 12 years old or greater, and you can come. Not too many limitations. The biggest barrier to entry would be cost.
So there's no limit per district or state. It's just if you can get there, you can get there.
Well, yeah, you do have to go in with a council unit. So the councils, there's many councils. Some states are councils themselves, like Montana, because of population. We have a Montana council.
Right.
So they would be allocated troops of certain sizes, and I don't know what the number is. Is it 20 scouts? Is it 40 scouts? Somewhere in that neighborhood. And then you'd split them up based upon like how many adult chaperones you need per scout. So, but yeah, they would be sponsored by, or chartered basically at the council level. And then individual troops and stuff like that would say, okay, well, Jimmy and Susie want to go to National Jamboree. You just have to apply to the council and then get accepted up there. And then the adults basically have to do the same thing if they want to be contingent staff, which means they're basically chaperones. They would do the same thing. They would apply to be the adult member of that particular troop. So the troops come in, they have their own special unit number and everything else, but they're based at the council level.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, you couldn't like the little Billings. We have like, I don't know, five or six troops here in Billings. Probably more now because I think some of the ones split off and stuff like that. But yeah, you wouldn't come in as those troops, but let's say like a couple kids from each troop would go in to the Montana Council, and join up with kids from Great Falls and Missoula and everywhere else, and they would build a troop from all of the kids within the realm of the council, and that's how that would work.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that makes sense. So are the attendees coming only from the U.S., or is it open to anyone from across the globe, or national?
It is opened up to WASM units. Generally, units that are doing events upcoming are the ones that attend to the National Jamboree. So there is an event coming up, obviously next year. Not obviously, but because we already spoke about the weird calendar issue with the World Jamboree. The World Jamboree in Poland, they had representatives from Poland there for that particular event. And then they also have this thing called Moot Scouting. And I'm looking it up because I have no idea what it means. World Scout Moot is an international gathering of young adults. So Moot is kind of like another sort of mini jamboree that occurs. And yeah, it's an event for senior members of scouting movement and other young adult scouts. So interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
So the older scouts, so the collegiate basically age scouts. So these would be venture scouts and Order of the Arrow scouts and stuff like that inside of Scouting America would join the international scouts. And Moot is being held not next year, but the year after in Thailand. So we had a Thailand group there. And I believe we actually had a small contingent from Japan there. And I can't remember specifically why they were there, but maybe they have something coming up too. But yeah, so it does bring in international scouts. We also have international staff that can come in. You can apply, and as long as you're accepted in, you can be there. So yeah, it's pretty much open to everyone. You don't see a huge amount of international participation, but there's always some because of the related events.
Cool. All right, cool. Okay, so moving on. So there are multiple things the scouts can do there. They can do higher adventure sports. So they do zip lining, mountain biking trails, ATV courses, skateboarding at the park, and one of the largest shooting sports venues in the world.
Yep.
They have water adventures, so they can go whitewater rafting, kayaking, paddle boarding. They can do Scoutcraft and merit badges, so they can work on 60 different merit badges, explore the sustainability treehouse, and visit a pioneer village. They can do patch trading. Scouts trade their local council patches with thousands of other participants from across the U.S. and the globe. They have campsite gateways, and it says the troops often spend months building elaborate gateway structures at the entrances to their campsites to display their state or council pride. So, my question is, where does everyone sleep?
On the ground.
On the ground.
I will say that I didn't see many gateways getting built this year, which is new. A lot of signage and stuff like that, but it's interesting when the gateways do get built because they're pretty cool. Let's see. Everyone sleep. So the scouts come in and they are basically allotted tents that they build, and they have to set up like little soldiers. So the tents all look the same when they set up their tents. And they're normally in a base camp that's close to the center of the summit, what we call Summit Center or Gateway. So they're normally placed there with their more uniform-looking tents. Staff is placed in a far off land called Echo. Okay. So it's a different subcamp Echo, which is about it's like a 2-mile hike to Summit Center from there.
Right.
And we basically bring our own tents. So I brought my own tent, I have my own cot, my own sleeping arrangements, everything. And we just we're all allotted a 10 by 10 spot, and we just basically move in, set up our tent in our allotted location, and YOLO the rest of the week. So the kids look much more organized because their tents all look the same. They're all the same tent, the same color, and everything else. So it's kind of cool that's how they do that. We're not so lucky. So.
So what about food? How is food handled for everybody?
So for the scouts, they actually cook all their food. They are given food to cook every day for breakfast and for dinner. Lunches are generally what we call Jamboree lunch to go or lunch on the go, or as I like to call it, your daily dose of salt. Or cracker time.
In other words, Lunchables. Yeah.
No Lunchables. No, it'd be
okay.
Pretty much like beef jerky kind of stuff, or Slim Jims and crackers, high protein, high salt content stuff. Yeah, generally
healthy stuff. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
It basically makes up for like electrolytes if you're not using additives, your electrolyte additives to your water. It's good to have those extra salty things to kind of give you that balance for the dehydration that will most definitely occur.
Happen. Yeah.
So they're given an allotment. So they have little wagons that they bring to every subcamp has basically a food storage area where they bring their wagons, they get their allotment for their troop, and they go back to their troop and then they cook it. So they have, basically, flat top grills and everything else out there, cooking pots and everything, so they can actually make the meal, whether that be breakfast or dinner. And so they do that first thing in the morning for breakfast. Then they'll go back at, I think, 4:30, pick up the stuff for dinner and make dinner. Now for the staff, which is out in Camp Echo, we actually have a chow hall that basically does cook breakfast for us. So we have basically a buffet breakfast and then a buffet dinner every day. So and it's not great, but it's fine. It's
you'll survive.
Not very inspiring cuisine, but let's say you'll be fine. You eat it and it's fine. Nothing's horribly disgusting. I think there was only one meal I was like, hey, this is just not trying. It's like I could have done better with a trip to Costco or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
But for the most part, it's fine. And lunches are bag lunches. So you just take your bag over and grab one of every snack item that they have in the Tupperware containers, and that's your lunch on the go.
That's your lunch.
Normally at the station, we have a box that we just dump all our extras in. So by the end of a few days, we have a bunch of extra stuff
got some snacky snacks
that anybody can get into here. So, and in fact, we even had a nice bear swing in, and for only one person in the chat room that can enjoy this, I'm pasting a photo of our bear that was checking out the lunch to go items. So there are black bear there, and he was
Apparently, he
rather
avoided the closed sign.
yeah. It's closed at 3:00 in the morning when he was out there rummaging around and seeing what kind of snacks he can get into. So yeah, that's sort of what our stuff looked like, and I think I even have. Let me see if I have a Chow Hall photo here. Which again, only one person's going to enjoy this because you got to come and watch this. This is you'll have to come back into the live channel and check out the chat for all those listening to us. That's sort of what the Chow Hall looks like, and
Cool.
I'm only about halfway in it, so like there's another half behind me that's all
Half
full of
behind
people
it,
and stuff
right.
like that. So it's rather large because obviously you're feeding about 3,000 people, and normally it's about 1,500
Since
that are in
this
there
is
at a
a
time.
permanent installation, I would think that it would actually be a big building instead of a tent.
Nope, all tents because none of this is here all year. And they've moved it. So like in 2023, we were actually over in Alpha and Bravo, which is another sub camp. So we're not always in the same spot. This time we just happened to be in the same spot we were in 2019 and 2017.
Gotcha. Alrighty then. So they also have stadium shows. They have large-scale arena gatherings featuring musical acts and prominent guest speakers. So my question is, can Bill participate in these? Can you go rafting, do the concerts? Did you participate in anything?
Me personally, no. But yes. Our staff members can participate in stuff. We schedule our particular staff gets scheduled for half days. So basically, you either work in the morning or in the afternoon, and you can do whatever you want with the other half a day. You can go out and go shooting. Oh yes, we'll go to the laptops too. KJ5T, yeah. You can do whatever. Yeah, pretty much you can participate in everything that's out there. The shows are generally after hours, so after program hours, so everybody can go do those. They did have a big opening show. I didn't go to that. They had music. They had fireworks, which I was kept up by because I was trying to go to sleep, and then they did fireworks one of the evenings. Very annoying when I was so tired. And then I was like, this clearly can't go on for very long. And then like 35 minutes later, it finally stops. And then they had a closing show. I think Scary Pockets was the band. And I didn't really get much information after that. So yeah, I normally don't do the shows because I go to bed by the time that they do the shows. So the shows start about 8:00 and I'm ready for bedtime then. So I know a lot of my
that's like 6 p.m. at home.
Yeah, I know a lot of my staff go out and do it and stuff like that. It's just I'm normally because I work all day. I go basically I have breakfast at 5:30 in the morning when the chow hall opens. So I'll have my coffee, and then if they have something I want to eat, then I'll eat it. Then I hike to the station. Normally at the station by like 6, quarter after 6 or something like that. Get everything opened and aired out because it's very wet there. We get fans and everything else running and moving air around to make sure that the radios and the computers don't get killed by humidity and
the
moisture and stuff like that. So we air that out in the morning and basically get everything powered up and connected again for the next day or for the day for the team to use. The team rolls in about 7:30, and we start program at 8:00 in the morning. And we run program till 5:00, which I'm there all the way till 5:00, and I'm closing the tent, closing my area, and then I walk back 2 miles and go have dinner, jump in the shower, and then go to bed.
Alrighty then. So, okay, fine, be that way.
So, and we could talk a little bit about do you have the station stuff in here? Oh, you were going to talk about K2BSA. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to move along to the K2BSA part of it.
Yep.
And Bill and his team that he works with continue the tradition of activating the K2BSA on site and having amateur radio demonstrations where they get thousands of scouts through the program. There are radio merit badges classes running throughout the event and 2 VE testing sessions for potential upgrades and licenses while they're there. They operated on HF on 40 through 10 meters. Oopsie. D-Star on REF 033A, Echolink on JOTA 365, and more as times, conditions, and staffing allowed. And ICOM America provided the transceivers for the event. So my question is, or one of my many questions are, do all attendees come by to learn about ham radio? And if not, how do they work coming by to see what ham radio is all about?
I wish we would get all of them. That would be so awesome. But no, we are an open area, so we're not specifically scheduled to be there. There's not like we're not like scheduled. So like it's not like they're required to come see us. So we only get a percentage of them when we look at the overall attendance that is there for the event. And sorry, I'm looking at trying to get other data here for the future questions. What else was the question? Sorry.
If not everybody comes by, how do they work out who comes by?
Yeah, so it's completely open. So we just happen to be very lucky to have a space that's right in the middle of like major walkways. So we're right next to what's called the Gateway Zip. It's where the zip line comes down and like you end at, we're pretty much at the entrance to our station. Also where what do you call it? Where they buy all their patches and stuff like the trading hall.
Trading post.
Trading post.
Right,
yeah, like a trading post. Yeah. Trading. I'm pretty sure it's called the trading post too. Yeah. So there's like that where they can buy stuff. There's actually the huge patch trading areas are all right by us. And we're on a main walkway from what's considered Gateway, Action Point, and Legacy. We're literally on top. If you ever look at pictures of the area, there's a big sign that has like SBR, the Summit Bechtel Reserve, that everybody takes their photos by. That our station is literally by that sign. So we generally, like can see, and they see our station walking by every day. So like every scout will pass by our area. Whether or not they come in is really up to them, because it is, like I say, an open policy on stuff. They're not required to do anything. They do have some minor requirements, like they do their day of service, where they have to go and do some kind of planned activity for that. They may have scheduled things as a group to go do, but generally the kids are, they buddy up and then they go out and do whatever they want. They want to go do mountain biking in the morning, they go do that. They want to go shooting in the afternoon, they go do that. We're just one of the extra programs that are there. And we've been doing it since, as the K2BSA since 1977.
All righty. So how many attendees do you usually have go through in the 8-ish days that you're there?
Well, there's no usual number, because obviously it fluctuates from time to time based upon the population of the Jamboree. I can tell you that this time we had, because I'm looking at my number sheet right now, 2,407 come through the station.
Great.
So that's how many we got. Most likely, air quotes, we got all those people on the air, and we all had them speak to somebody on the air, whether that be on HF, D-Star, Echolink, what have you. And in the same breath, we had merit badges. The merit badge program was going on, and we had 208 merit badges completed there. Cool. So in general, we have, at every station, we have 5 stations this time, and we can take up to 4 scouts at a time per station. So in the cycling, we can have, 4 times 5? So 20 scouts. 20 scouts on the radio together as a group, and then we'll cycle kids out as soon as, one gets done. If we have more waiting there, we'll kind of like, okay, you guys can step aside, and we'll throw these 2 in the middle of this call that we're working with somebody. So I will say that this number is down from last year, but so are the participant levels down. So,
Right.
so it's always a good percentage. So if we did 2,400 and let's say there were 7,500, so we did 30% of the scouts.
Oh.
So that's I think that's a pretty good for something that, is not necessarily as exciting as ziplining.
Right. Well, yeah. So how long are they usually in the K2BSA tent before they go on to their next adventure?
So each person will have some level of a conversation on the radio, and we generally say that everyone will have 5 to 10 minutes per person on the radio. So like a group of 4 will probably have like somewhere between, maybe 20 minutes to 30, 40 minutes, depending upon if the person's really talky or the scout is really asking a lot of questions and stuff like that. We don't limit them, and we don't say, hey, you got to go. Kind of thing. We want them to kind of experience it. And in general, we don't have a lot of times when it's so overflowing that we have to do that. Where we're like, okay, it's time to, boot and scoot and stuff like that. But there are times when, we have a merit badge class coming out. So they're on break and we have to get them all their contact for part of the merit badge requirements. And they'll flood the station with all the kids in the class, which will be like 20 to 30 kids coming in the class. So basically that's every station needs to be occupied. And if we already had 2 or 3 stations occupied, we're going to have an overflow. And so we have to have these kids in queue. So they have like already kind of a built-in like 45-minute break in the middle of the 2 half sessions that they run for Radio Merit Badge that we can accommodate, get all the scouts on the air, and then get them back into class.
Gotcha. Alrighty then. So we know that the radios are provided by ICOM, but KJ5T asked in the chat room if all the laptops are running Linux.
Yes, and that's
of course they are.
It's due to me. Yeah. So actually, this time we decided to use Wavelog as our main logging program. So this gave us the opportunity to use Linux on everything because we didn't really have to worry about running N1MM, which in previous years we have run N1MM, and we had all kinds of problems with using that in a networked environment and making them all sync up and then transporting all the logs back to the main computer. Yeah, nothing ever worked right in that situation. I don't know how you can run a successful multi-op with that software, but you can get it all eventually to work. You can sync it up. It's not like it can't, but it is a bit clumsy to do that. So with Wavelog, everybody's logging into the same database, so it really didn't matter. So all the machines are identical. They were all we purchased all of these laptops from an ARDC grant for the 2023 Jamboree, and I installed Kubuntu 2604 LTS on all of them, and installed Wavelog Gate, and I did install Andy's Ham Radio Linux just to kind of practice doing that and seeing how that worked. We actually didn't use any of the software because we really had no need for any of it because we were only doing voice and we're only logging. So that's sort of what we did with it. But the Wavelog Gate worked great, connected to all the radios using the internal transceiver control in Wavelog Gate. And everything worked great. I have to say, we didn't have a single problem with any of the computers. They all slugged it out. And obviously these are not brand new ones. These are 3 years old. Actually, when I bought them with the ARDC grant, so they're like 4 or 5 years old now because, I bought them when I got the grant. And they're still running great. We'll have them probably for the next couple of jamborees with probably no maintenance needed besides just upgrading the software on them and ensuring they're all secure and everything else. But I think this was definitely a proof of concept that worked out perfectly. Nobody had any problems with it. I did have to make accommodations in Wavelog because I haven't set that up for this particular kind of setup where you're doing a multi-op and you don't want to give everybody individual logins and stuff like that. So I did have to make a couple of changes when we got on site to fix it. So all they had to do is just swap operators and there's one login. So that made it super simple because we just logged the laptop in, point at the individual hardware interface, which we had attached to Wavelog Gate, and then they could just switch operators with basically a switch operator drop down. So it was
Nice.
very convenient, and no one complained. I was surprised. I was kind of expecting like complaints, like I don't know how to use this and stuff like that. But we did tell them that you're here to operate the radio, not to actually investigate all of the features of the radio. So our
Right.
operators are told ahead of time that, yeah, these are very nice radios that ICOM provided. Yeah, we have all the brand new ICOM 7300 Mark IIs on all the HF stations. We had a 9700 running D-Star, which is probably overkill for that, but that radio works stellarly. And then we use an IC 7100, just like the one that's on the desk at your place and at mine. And we ran that for basically the repeater operations and Echo Link. So, they all worked flawlessly, and we happened to have all of the cables to connect all those radios, because they did take different kinds of cables to connect into the rig control. But all of them connected fine, and none of them disconnected.
Cool. That's always nice. So what ham radio topics do you typically cover with the Scouts while they're in the K2BSA tent?
Well, with the Radio Merit Badge, there's lots of topics. So basically everything from RF theory to waves to amateur radio direction finding to emergency like RF burns, how to treat those versus regular burn. There's a large gamut of topics that are just within the context of the Radio Merit Badge. In the demonstration tent, we basically go over very basic stuff. The front table, we had the rules of nines apply to the RF burns. We have a couple of screens out front there showing satellite tracking using Oscar Watch was the one I showed there. And we show also the running log, so like basically the visitor view of all the stations logging and where those are, and plotting them on the map so they can see where we've had contacts with since we started the Jamboree. And then we also had an SDR, so at SDR++ running, just showing like an FM station, just to kind of show people what signals look like in that domain. So we get them a little taste of that up front. Then we go sit them down, get them on the radio, and depending upon the questions that they have, the radio operator may give them a little bit of like information or answer their questions. Sometimes the Radio Merit Badge kids have to do like an interview of sorts, where they interview somebody and find out, what education did they have to get into this, to amateur radio, and do you use it at your work and stuff like that. So they'll go through those kind of questions and stuff like that to satisfy that requirement. But just the regular kids just using the radio, just answering questions like, oh, you hear that? That's a birdie. What is a birdie? It's a, so on and so forth. So you'll answer questions about the context of what's going on right now. And, but generally we're just trying to get them on the radio. And then if they have follow-up questions, we can answer those questions and stuff like that. A lot of times it sort of starts clicking in their head what's going on. And then some of the other modes like D-Star and stuff like that, you do have to kind of explain with a little bit more context of how this is working and stuff like that. So yeah, it could be a whole gamut of various random topics that are not very specific.
So what modes do they typically get to work while they're in the tent?
Voice. So yeah, it's the most accessible mode, and it doesn't require any explanation of how it works.
Makes sense.
Squeeze and talk. So it's basically very basic stuff. We don't try to demo anything that they can't do. So like we don't want to really demo Morse code, although it's cool to have. We have keys on at least 2 or 3 of the HF stations. We generally don't do Morse code because it's not really something that they can participate in. They can listen to it and stuff like that, and that's neat, but it's not accessible. Same thing with like WSJTX and doing like the digital modes. I mean, yeah, we get a dopamine hit from playing with that ourselves, but we've just seen very little feedback from kids interacting with it in the same level of context that we have with it. You can explain it, you can show it. At times we showed WSJTX in the front on the SDR just to kind of show that digital signals are here, they're encoded. This is like a decoding software and blah, blah, blah. But we do not use it at all. But it is funny because when I had it up and I was running WSJTX up front, I could see people calling K2BSA because obviously we were reporting to PSK Reporter. I was like, no, we are not on the air on that. Sorry, guys. I did not mean to send those spots to PSK Reporter.
Nice. So other than the ICOM radio and your Linux laptops, is there any other equipment they use while they're there?
We have the TVs and stuff like that for display purposes. We use the TVs back in the back for the radio merit badge because they have a slide deck that they go over. They have a lot of hands-on things back in the back in the radio merit badge tent for demonstrating like waves. They have this huge rope and they make the kids get out and, shake it and make waves. And it's like, the more waves you make, the more energy it takes and the higher frequency. So yeah, anything that can teach a concept and also give them an opportunity to not be static, sitting down in a classroom kind of setting. Yeah, we have that kind of stuff going on. But in the demo tent, it's pretty much just the stations. We do have headsets that everybody has so they can listen to it without the noise from everybody else being around there. So we use a headphone amplifier. That's why we limit to how many station people we can have at the table. So we keep it to 4. We do have to daisy chain in the operator's headset. So technically we could have up to, 7 total people at every table, but we keep it down to 4 participants and 1 operator at the table. And yeah, no other special equipment just beyond visual aids.
Cool. So what exactly is required to earn the radio merit badge?
They have a whole list of requirements inside the radio merit badge pamphlet. And there's, I don't know specifically how many requirements there are. There are quite a few. And it's about I would say about 2.5 hours, 3 hours of content. And then the contact that they have to make. So maybe it's like 3 hours of content and the contact makeup. It's basically a 4-hour window that we give for the radio merit badge. And depending on who's teaching it to, it can be a little shorter, longer, what have you. But in general, it's can be anywhere from like 2.5 to 4 hours to get their radio merit badge. And they go over, like I say, all those various items and topics in order to complete the requirements for that.
Alrighty then. So have you ever had contacts be hateful or inappropriate with campers?
No. Surprisingly, not. Most people know because the control operator at the time of the station does make it apparent to the person they're talking to that we have scouts here, and would you be interested in talking with them and demonstrating amateur radio along with us of how this works? And if they're not interested, we just move along. We just put them in the log. Thank you for logging the contact. We're gonna get somebody that can actually talk to them. So we generally have never had any problems with that. The operators are in general take care of all of that with very, very high amount of class, so we don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yay, that's good. So if they want to test, do they do it while they're there learning stuff? They come back at a different time?
So yeah, we had 2 VE sessions while we were there, and this is completely optional. This is not really part of our program that we put on there. So this is totally a side of the program. It's just a tradition that we have put together. Well, we have enough VEs present because I generally only hire extras to be at the demo tent, and subsequently most of them are VEs as well. So we ran 2 VE sessions this particular time, and we had a lot of participants, and that's what I was kind of pulling up here because I had the stats. He didn't send me the screenshot of the total results. So the first night was Monday night, the 27th. Yeah, Monday the 27th, we had 3 new technicians, Insta General, so General from nothing, and 1 upgrade to General, which the 1 upgrade to General was actually one of our staff. She was a technician, and she got a General, I believe. And the second night on the 28th, we had a lot. We had let's see, we had 8 new technicians, 1 extra.
Nice.
No upgrades. Yeah, so 9 total new license or new amateurs basically. We did have quite a few people participate, but not everybody passed.
Gotcha.
We had about 20, I would say about 25 people each night that took tests.
Right.
So some obviously weren't prepared at all. We did have 1 scout that's got his technician on Monday and then got his extra on Tuesday.
Cool.
So that was kind of cool. He hadn't even, they hadn't even turned in the paperwork on his technician, and he came back and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take my General and extra," and smoked them both. So yeah. But we did get quite a few technicians, and we met a lot of scouts that already had their licenses, and they got to chat with us. And I talked to them about, hey, you can be on staff at the next jamboree because the average age of my staff member is 57. So that tells you how skewed.
It would be nice to have some fresh blood.
Yes, skewed to the old fart level. And the average staff member is older than I am. That's a lot. But we did have an 18-year-old staff member this time, which was cool, Mika. And Mika had joined us in 2023 where he took the Radio Merit Badge class. So as a scout, he took his Radio Merit Badge class at the National Jamboree in 2023 with a K2BSA. Ended up getting his license at some point after the Jamboree. And he was convinced to apply and be on staff between his high school and college year. So he has a little summer time that he had. And so he was great. It was really refreshing to have someone very young on the team because the kids instantly, the scouts instantly kind of
gravitated towards him.
Yeah, because he's just like them, the same kind of age and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And on our all of our guys are really nice. Like I pretty much pick the team and put the team together based upon their ability to interact with others. There's occasional new people and stuff like that, but in general, I want people that can work with anybody and as we like to say, always flexible, semper gumby, be very flexible and just always have a positive attitude, and I told him at the very beginning, it's like if you're not having fun, you need to come tell me you're not having fun and we'll get you somewhere else. We'll find something else for you to do. Cause I want you to be here and I want you to be having fun too. And if you're not having fun, it'll rub off on the kids.
No, that's very true.
Everybody should have a decent smile on their face. They should be happy to be doing what they're doing. And it's like, I don't want you here and at work if you don't feel like you can be that person today. So I give them all an opportunity to step aside and take a break. But we're here to put on a good face on everything and ensure that we're giving the scouts the best experience possible.
Cool. So how long does it take to set up and tear down the K2BSA booth?
Much like everything, it takes a little longer to set up because we're kind of thinking as we prepare. Normally I have a diagram that's already laid out, but I got tired of making diagrams because it's basically the same thing we do every year. And this time they changed the tent size on me halfway through, 3 months out. They said, "Oh, we're going to reduce your tent size." And I'm like, okay, well, just as long as I have a tent to put my station in, I'll figure out the station layout when we get there. But just keep my bomb the same. We'll figure it out. And same thing with ICOM. I didn't tell them, no, you don't have to ship me so many radios, knock 2 off or something like that. I said, we'll figure it out when we get there. Again, being semper gumby, always being flexible. That's kind of what we did. So it takes the most time to actually build the antennas. Those took a better part of a day to put those together. And so that's putting them together, measuring them, ensuring that the boom's on there, assembling the rotors with the mounts, and getting the coaxes laid out and the rotor cables laid out, getting ready for the boom truck to come out to put those up. That takes the most time. Setting up tables and stations, a few hours really. It doesn't take very long to do that. Breakdown on the same note. It took an hour and a half to break down everything into containers and then stacked back up. And of course we had to come back with the boom truck to get the antennas off the next day. And I believe from start to finish on the boom truck, I think the boom truck started yanking the antennas down at about 7. It was a little after 7:30. So maybe let's say 8 o'clock. The antennas were down, disassembled, ratchet strapped to the pallet, and my tech guy left the site at 10:15. So basically
Nice.
2 hours and 15 minutes to do that. Again,
Right.
takes less time to take it apart than to put it together.
Right, of course.
Just put
Yeah.
it together. You have to, ensure that everything is very, where it's supposed to be, measurements match, and everything else. So yeah, you take a little more time on the putting together, a little less time taking it apart.
Where's all the equipment stored between jamborees?
So all of the stuff like headsets and office supplies, headphone amplifiers, antennas, stuff like that is all stored at the Arnold Logistics Center, which is actually on site there at the Jamboree. So it's in a big, large warehouse, somewhere like 40,000 to 60,000 square foot warehouse.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just up on a pallet, and it gets stored there until the next Jamboree. The computers and stuff we keep in another facility off site. So this time it's in a storage facility in Dayton, because we do use that stuff at Hamvention for the booth. And it's just easier to have that stuff more available to prep it for the Jamboree when it's time to go jamboreeing. So we do make that stuff to be more accessible, because if we put that back, then yeah, we would have to do all of the computer work when we get there, which if the computer doesn't work,
Right.
then we got problems. So yeah, we tend to have the stuff that we kind of want to prepare ahead of time offsite, so we can modify it and have it prepped for and tested and ready to go. And then anything that is nuts and bolts, it will stay there on site. So we just don't have to do that. We just make an inventory of everything, take pictures of the inventory, and make a list if we need to get new headphones. Like I think we had to buy like 5 headphones. This time we kind of ran out to Walmart and just got some crummy headphones, because we realized that we were short when we purged some last time because they were kind of scuzzy. We went with some whatever called the padding on the headset. We had somebody bring in replacements for the pads on some of them, so we did that on some of them this time. But we'll probably have to get some more headsets for next time, maybe some new ones. We'll see. But yeah, those kind of items will always stay on site, so it's always available there.
So where do the KGBSA staff come to the summit from? Like, who lives the furthest away?
Oh, who lives the furthest away? I think we had one from Alaska, so it's probably the farthest away. Jambo. Let me see if I can even get to the site anywhere. I probably can't. Can I pull my scouts? Oh no, I can't. Let's see. I have a file here. Let's see. Let me go to the screen. Alt Shift F. Let's go to downloads. I have to have some members here. Okay, here's my members. Let's see. Did I have an Alaska one? I thought I had an Alaska one. No, I take that back. No Alaska. We did have California, so that's a bit further than Montana. We have 2 guys from Montana, myself and Scott. Scott Hooper, who is my demo team lead. He lives up in Kalispell. We had one staff member from Puerto Rico, Luis.
Nice.
He was pretty awesome. He just came hot off of doing a scout, like a solo demo where he did like the demo station and taught radio merit badge all by him lonesome down in Puerto Rico. And he had a really awesome setup. He was showing me the pictures for it and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you can be in charge of setting up all our stuff. And he's like, I did this all by myself. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that
You're hired.
Looked really sharp. And he did really good. He was a little quiet. I think he probably a little self-confident on speaking English. Maybe perhaps his English was great, but I think he still had like a little bit of confidence because he didn't start opening up until like the last week, and I was like, "Oh, you're doing so good," you know.
Right.
But he looked really scared, like deer in headlights at the beginning. He was like, "I don't know, these scouts, like I don't know, they kind of scare me because they don't speak Spanish." And then no, he did such an excellent job. Cool. Let's see, Georgia, New York, Missouri. We had a bunch from Missouri here. Defiance.
It's up by St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis. Yeah, we had some Floridians, some Wisconsins, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Texas, New Jersey, Maryland, Tennessee. Yeah. So it'd be between California, I guess, would be the furthest away. Then that's Montana.
You guys in Montana.
And then probably Puerto Rico. So yeah, good staff. We had like 30, basically 30 members. Some were part-time, some were full-time. So
right. Cool. So is there anything you want to add?
I think I covered the gamut of everything that we did. It was a lot of fun. It always is a lot of fun. It's great. I got to peel the film off of the IC 7300s Mark IIs because they've never been used before.
Right.
So it was nice, like, getting that brand new rig feel out of it. The rigs did flawlessly, and I'm not saying that just because ICOM, sponsors it.
Right.
I will say there's a huge improvement from the original 7300 to these Mark IIs, and the 7300s themselves were not bad. So don't get me wrong there. But the things we noticed on the 7300s, the regular model, when you have quite a few of them all in close proximity running a multi station, you tend to get a little bit of, even with filters, because we use filters on every band, so that we don't have the interference. But we did notice like the DSPs were getting hit from the signals. So the out of band signals were still getting sort of into the receiver. So that's the kind of weird thing that I noticed in the IC 7300s. It didn't really affect the stations unless it was also getting a little bit into the band. But you would see the little DSP light up, and that's normally an indication that there's too many signals are coming in, too many symbols are hitting the DSP at once, and it's struggling under stress. We didn't experience that at all with the Mark IIs. They were stellar. Like they didn't show a sign that there was even a radio near them. So yeah, much better onboard filtering, obviously keeping those signals out of the DSP that you're working on in band. We had great audio reports and everything else. Our antennas work great. The JK antennas that we had for World Scout Jamboree, we're still using those. We have pretty much decommissioned anything else except for those at this point. We did add a couple of Aero antennas for our VHF, UHF stations because the repeaters are so close in proximity that we don't need high gain antennas or anything else like that. So so all of that stuff worked out great. I'm really proud of the team. They did a great job. All of them did excellent. I didn't want to fire any of them. We'll throw an extra 0 in front of their paychecks because they all paid to be there and they're all volunteers. And they did. They all had fun. They did a great job. I think everyone should be proud of what we accomplished there. And we did a fine program for the Jamboree and for the K2BSA. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Cool. Well, I know Russ probably would have been like,
talking about K2BSA the whole time. Oh my God, I can't believe you guys did a whole episode of it.
Yeah, well, second cope, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess that's the end of our little interview then. So for announcements and feedback, same thing as every week. We need support for the show. You can support us via Patreon, PayPal, merch, sharing the podcast via social media, rating us in your podcast app. We need your feedback, comments, questions, show topic ideas, whatever you want to throw at us. And lastly, there will be a memorial service for Russ at our home in Mount Vernon, Missouri on November 1st. Everyone's welcome. There's a Facebook page for it. That information will be in the show notes. And if you've got comments, questions about the memorial service, whatever, throw us an email at info@lhspodcast.info. So there was no feedback this week. We had a couple of subscribers and supporters. Bill, do you want to take those or you want me to do it?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So for our paid Patreon, we had Thor N7JCT. For PayPal, we had Dillon Angle. On Facebook, we had Dave Orio and Gregory Ward Dyer. On Twitter, we had at Blue Sky Farm. Mastodon, we had Broken Institution at indieweb.social. On Discord, we had schnitlzd, and Bill has here with fancy font.
I was trying to decipher it.
It's
like it says something, but I don't know.
I didn't know what that is.
Schnitzeled? I don't know. Something like that.
We had Mushroom Chef, JRantz, M with an apostrophe as the I, and Peas. And the live show participants were Steve, KJ5T, and Tucker, K5FAZ. And that brings us to the end of the show. So thank you, everyone, for being here and supporting us by listening to episode 624. And next time, I believe we're doing another featured topic.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be joined by Sebastian, and he's got something to talk about and show off. And that's all I have because I haven't tried running what he sent me.
Gotcha. All right. Again, you're fired.
Yes. So Sebastian will be here, and if you're interested in that, come. We'll be recording on Sunday live at
Sunday night,
normal time, so nothing out of the ordinary. But come and hear Sebastian talk about Halo Next is what I have here. So I don't know what it is. I will try it out, and I'll have more information and questions during the next episode.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. So that's the end. So for Russ, K5TUX, I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Live recordings are Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Central Time. Our homepage can be found at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast via Patreon at patreon.com/LHS podcast. We're also on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Mastodon. Contact us via email at info@lhspodcast.info or via voicemail at 190954777469. That's 1909 LHS show. We also have merch. So until next we meet, remember to always heed your hedonism.